All right, my friends, welcome back. This is going to be part 49. I believe that's where we're at. Yeah, 49. And this presentation on the flood and Noah's Ark. And this one here, we're going to really start getting into some really interesting things about fossil graveyards that have been found. And we're going to take it kind of slow because there's a lot of really neat information that I'm going to be showing you. And again, guys, this is when you're talking to evolutionists and those that want to debate. And believe me, I've done my share of them on social media with them. It's very exhausting, guys. It really is because you got two different uh, thoughts, of two different views. You got those that don't believe the Bible, and then you've got those that do believe the scriptures. And no matter how much talking, and believe me, I've done it, and it's very frustrating. And sometimes I always say after I get done, I am not going to do this anymore with these people. And for the most part, I don't. For the most part, I don't. But every now and then, something or I'll see a post, usually on the Facebook, and it'll be a post about something from a creationist will post it, and then you'll have all these atheists and evolutionists chime in with their snob remarks and stuff, and sometimes I just can't help it. And I just dive in full force, and sometimes I can spend a lot of time doing that. And though there's a lot of people that give me thumbs up and appreciates it, it is a complete waste of time talking to these people. It really is, because the bottom line is, do you believe the Bible? It is simple as that. No matter how much evidence that we give or we show, it is not going to change these people's minds. It won't. I actually saw an article. It was an old article. I want to say well over a decade, and it was talking about the possibility of dinosaurs being in the Congo swamps in Africa. And this writer, of course, said it was complete nonsense. And they stated, I wish if I could find that article and trying to think about exactly what it was, it would be an awesome a quote to show my creationist friends out there how these folks think. And it says that if they did find one, if they did find a living dinosaur, I mean an apatosaur or T-Rex or Stegosaurus out there, this is what they're saying. They said it would not change their minds, because just as the coelacanth, they thought the coelacanth was at the time of the dinosaurs and had went extinct about 65 million years ago, and then they found a whole school of them, and there's a bunch of them. They said that didn't change their minds, and they said a dinosaur would not change their mind. And so again, it all boils down to this right here. And you'll often will hear me say over and over again and point people to what Jesus said in the parable of the rich man and the beggar, that they have Moses and the prophets, guys. Now, that term Moses and the prophets is talking about the Old Testament, but to us, it's talking about the Bible. They have the Bible. They have the scriptures. That's basically what Jesus was saying. He was saying they have Moses in the Bible. Excuse me, they have Moses and the prophets. They have Moses and the prophets. They have the Bible. They have the scripture. This is all we need to point them to, not some miracle or not some amazing evidence, because it is not going to change their minds one bit. It's not going to do it. And so all the debating and stuff is really useless. Most of the time I do it because I want my creationist out there or my Christian friends out there to see how we answer those questions. That's mainly the reason why I do it. But it's a very exhaustive thing to do. And so if you get somebody that wants to debate you in this stuff that I'm about to show you, the first thing you need to ask them, and I'm going to give you some really good advice, guys. The first thing you need to ask them is, do they believe in this right here? If they say no, walk away from them. Walk away from them. Now, if they are wanting information and they really they want to find out, what is this and what is that, it may be an opportunity to witness to them about the gospel. But it's been my experience for many years that I've been into this, that if they want to argue with you, ask them, do they believe the Bible? If they say no, walk away and be done with it. And you're going to save yourself a tremendous amount of grief. Now, if you'll notice on the screen here, this right here is a map. Is a map of fossil graveyards and frozen fossil forest. All those little dots up here. And we've talked about numerous ones of these. Now, if you'll notice, this is all over the planet. This is all over the globe. You can easily see that a catastrophic event happened, like the historical biblical flood. And you will hear me say that over and over again, historical biblical flood. And so it does match up to what the Bible says about the flood. This was a catastrophic event, and the things that we're going to look at, you can clearly see that something catastrophic happened to these animals. And so now in the United States, all the white dots here, now I'm constantly adding areas onto here. And so now I've recently added one around South Carolina area, the Ashley phosphate beds, and we're going to be talking about that here in the future. But all these white dots here, and it's really kind of amazing when you look at these white dots, you can kind of see a pattern. And so, but again, as things are coming to light and as new evidence is being brought forth, I will add to this. So it's always changing. And so now we're going to go to we're going to stay in America, and we're going to look at what's called the Morrison Formation. The Morrison Formation. Now, guys, this may take 2, even 3 videos to go through, but I want to take my time, and I want you guys to get some good information. And so now you can go on to, if you just put in Dinosaur National Monument, Dinosaur National Monument, and go right to their website, you're going to see some really cool stuff. Now, they're going to be talking in evolutionary language. That's what they're going to be in terms and stuff like that. That's all you're going to hear from this website. But hopefully one day I hope to be able to visit this. And so now this information here I got from the one in quotes, that is, the one in quotes I got from their website on this slide here. But if you'll notice that Morrison Formation, you got Canada and you got New Mexico, and all that brown area, light brown area, that is the Morrison Formation. Now, you're not going to get this type of layering, I guess you could say, this formation here from just a river or something like that. This is something catastrophic. This is something from a global worldwide flood. Now, it covers 700,000 square miles. 700,000 square miles, this formation. It is named for the town in Colorado where the layer was first described. The Morrison Formation extends throughout the western United States and contains fossils of numerous dinosaur species that lived during that period of time. In this area, the Morrison Formation preserves the bones of dinosaurs such as the Camarasaurus, Apatosaurus, Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, and others. Now, if you'll notice that this building is actually built, it looks like it's actually built right onto a cliff face. And so now that actually is, that's a wall inside of it that has all types of dinosaur bones, but these dinosaur bones are in situ. They are in the formation there. They didn't excavate them out. They left them exactly where they're at. And it's absolutely incredible evidence for the flood. And so even though they talk evolution, it is incredible evidence, guys, that you can look at to see the historical biblical world flood. And so now this is another picture of that in the area that it is. Again, I really hope that one day I can go out and see this. I would think it would just be an amazing thing to see. The Quarry Exhibit Hall, that's exactly what that's called, that visitor center. They call it the Quarry Exhibit Hall, is built into the side of the Morrison Rock Formation on the site that used to be formerly called the Carnegie Quarry. the Carnegie Quarry, which was found on August 17th, 1909 in Jensen, Utah by paleontologist Earl Douglas. He found 8 tailbones from an Apatosaurus. Earl worked for the Carnegie Museum of Natural History in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he was sent by the museum's directors to find and excavate dinosaur fossils. I mean, the area was just known for dinosaurs and finding them out there, so they sent them out there especially for that, to display in the Carnegie Museum. Now, if you'll notice below this, below that paragraph there, they got some little points of interest there. Now, first, if you'll notice the picture to the right there, you'll see the 8 connected tailbones from the Apatosaurus. You can see them there, one after another. They're all sitting right there. That would be so cool to see. And you know, you got to think now. This was right at the tail end of what they call the dinosaur rush. Or the bone wars. And so I'm going to show you a chart, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But you know, people were still just discovering and learning about dinosaurs. They really didn't know much about them. So to see a backbone or a tailbone like that sticking out of the ground, that must have been something just wild for the people to look at. Now that gentleman that's in that picture leaning up against that shovel, his name is George Goodrich. Now I'm going to try that name there. I'm going to say Uintah Basin Local. I may be completely messing that name up, but it's a Uintah Basin Local. He was hired. He was one of the first people hired by Earl Douglas to assist in the search for dinosaur fossils. And there you go right there. They have that one exposed. But it says 5 days after the discovery, they had their first visitors arrive. And people were wanting to see this. And I'm talking people from all ages. They were coming to see this. I'm talking people that, now from what I understand, the area back then it was dangerous to go walking into that area because the ground, you know, it wasn't as it is now where, you know, you could drive a car on. And so people from, you know, were really taking chances walking on these rocks and stuff to come see this stuff. But it was just so interesting to them. And so, but that was the very beginning of this. And so now, if you'll notice this chart here, now when we talk about the dinosaur wars and bone wars, if you'll notice this chart here, go all the way to the right-hand side next to Darwin, and you'll see 1880s. 1880s. Now that was when they started the dinosaur rush, or it's also known as the Bone Wars, mainly between two guys, Edward Cope and Arthenio Marsh. They were just really they were trying to outdo each other on who could find the most dinosaurs. And so, but you know, that's during this time period here. So if you'll notice, we're still in this area here of the 1800s when Hutton, all the way through Darwin. This is when evolution began. And I could just see Satan right now saying, oh boy, this is my chance. And so, and then that's where the evolution started, you know, permeating the educational world and even the science world, though a lot of the scientists all the way up until 1830 believed in the Bible and they believed into the biblical flood there. But now the first dinosaur was found by William Buckland. If you'll go all the way up to where it says Hutton, that picture of Hutton, go to the right where it says 1818, 1819. Those are two dates that I found where the first dinosaur was discovered. It was a Megalosaurus, and I'm going to show you a picture of that here in just a minute. Now, I was in the in National Geographic magazine back in 1993, they had an article entitled Dinosaurs, and in that, they state that dinosaurs' bones have been discovered as early as 1676. So I did add that information up there just to be fair. But the actual first dinosaur that was found and named was by William Buckland. And so he was the one that named the first one. And so he wasn't the one that coined the word dinosaur. That was Richard Owen. back in 1840, 1842. Now, right here, if you'll notice the picture to the left, that is a megalosaur. A megalosaur that they found fragmented fossils, and he actually put the dinosaur together wrong. If you'll notice down underneath that picture of that four-legged animal, that was the original megalosaur that they had put together. And so now it was found in 1818. Around, those are the two dates I was given, 1818, 1819, and it was named in 1824. And so again, and now again, dinosaur bones were found even before then, like I said, as early as 1676. Now this next slide here, if you'll notice, now there are those people that I've met them, Christians. Some of them are Christians. They believe that dinosaurs were completely made up, fabricated, and so to teach whatever. Some of them believe. I've met some Christians that believe that dinosaurs were made up to teach evolution. But there are those people that you just cannot convince them of anything else otherwise. But I just wanted to show you guys, though, for those of you that may be questioning dinosaurs as a whole, they have definitely found them all over the planet. And so now this was dinosaur finds by country. And this was dated back in 2022. And if you want to, for time's sake, guys, I'm not going to go through every single one of these. But the United States is showing to have the most, 10,597. When you add it all together, again, this is back in 2022, there's 22,221 dinosaur finds. And so, yes, dinosaurs did actually exist. Now, let's go ahead and let's stop right here. I'm pushing 19 minutes right now. And so, but this is just a little, introduction. When we get back next time, we're going to talk about some more interesting aspects about Dinosaur National Monument. And so, but if you want to just jump ahead, go ahead and go to their website and just check out some of the pictures that they have. Now, again, you're going to see strictly evolution. That's all they're going to show. But it's still a cool area to look at. And I think that Earl Douglas was a fascinating fella, and he thought outside the box. Even though he thought in evolutionary terms, he thought outside the box, and he wanted the area to become an educational thing for visitors and stuff. And he really pushed that. And so it took a long time, but he finally got the ball rolling. And we'll talk more about that when we get together. But you guys take care. I love you and hope the Lord blesses you real good. Bye-bye.